Welcome to DillieGang, the channel that provides tutorials and reviews on the tools helping you make an impact in the world with your music and content. The topic of this video is knowing when to start over. You may have been working on some projects, or you may have been working on some pursuits for a while, and you're trying to figure out maybe I should try something different, but at the same time you've been grinding, you don't want to give up, you don't want to quit, and you've heard from many people, don't give up, don't quit, there's going to be some valleys, but sometimes the valleys don't make sense. So hopefully with some tips that I have in this video, these will help you kind of know when it's a good idea to keep going or when to start over from scratch and rebuild from the bottom. The first thing you want to do is start documenting your efforts. Now, I know this takes a lot of work and it's a very boring preposition, but try to roll with me on this. See, the thing is, if you don't know what your normal is, then you don't know when you're going above and beyond your normal or when you're going below your normal. It's important to take time or to have a system in place, whether you're selling beats or whether you're selling songs or making content or you're tweeting. You know, there's a lot of tools out there that help you keep track of what's going on, but you have to be careful because it's very easy to get consumed in it. But it's very important to at least keep track of what you're doing so that you know what works and what doesn't. And so as long as you're documenting what you're doing, you can see where you have growth at and to see where you're losing at so that you can make a best decision based on your intuition and based on your mind to see which way to go. And it's also enables you to get help from others and say, hey, this is the issue I'm having. They say, well, tell me what's going on about you. You got these details. These are the facts. When you start documenting what you're doing and you start documenting your results, you take your opinion out the equation and you put facts in there. You take emotions out the equation and once again, you put facts in there and you make your best decision like that. So make sure you document what you're doing so that you know that whatever it is that you're getting involved with, if you're getting a decent return, a diminishing return, or an increasing return. Another thing to do is listen to a second party, and I don't mean anybody. I don't mean anybody who has the results you're looking for, because a lot of times we can look at certain people's status or certain people's achievements and think that they have all the answers when it's not the case. I personally think it's best important to pay attention to those who actually follow you, who actually are genuinely interested in what you're doing and has been paying attention and say, hey, have you seen this? What do you think about that? And you'll get some feedback, and some of it may be good and some of it may be bad. You may get some responses, or you may get people that may not respond at all or may not have any help at all. But I think that's something important to try to determine if you still want to pursue doing this or not, or maybe trying another way by paying attention to those who actually genuinely show interest and show support in what you're doing, because obviously those are the people that are going to give you genuine feedback and they probably actually do care about what you're doing. Another thing you can do is test your efforts by trying to achieve the same goal, but in a different way. What do I mean by that? So metaphorically, say you're washing a car, right? So you got two different ways you can wash a car. You can wash a car in your driveway, fill up the bucket full of water, get some soap, get the right stuff in there, wash your car that way, and then take your car to a car wash and wash in that way. Now, the goal is to get the car washed, but you're going to get two different types of results from getting that car wash. Is the car cleaner when you clean it yourself? Are there less spots missed? Even though you save time by going to a car wash, you save time, but you're worried about the machine scratching up the body of your car. And it's important to, and metaphorically, what I'm trying to say is as you try this way and you try that way, you pay attention to what works better. Well, that works in a lot of things in life when you pay attention to the different ways of achieving the same result. So for example, maybe you had a beat and you wanted to upload it on SoundCloud, and then you want to also upload it from BeatStars. Now you start from basics with this. You start from a new account, or maybe an account you already had that you have been working on for a while, and you compare the results. So if I put it up on SoundCloud, okay, I got 10 streams right there. I put it up on BeatStars, only got 5 streams right there. Put up another beat, put up 3 beats, and pay attention and get data to see which place is more fruitful at the time for you to be putting your music and uploading on, because a lot of times things change. It may be easier for you to promote your music on SoundCloud. It may be easier for you to promote your music on BeatStars. The point that I'm trying to make is that you try them and you test them both. You try your ideas and you see what works, and you do a little bit of trial and error, because I know what it means to go on YouTube and look at a lot of people who are very successful and a lot of people who provide great information. Let's be real about it. A lot of people provide very great information. They provide great tutorials, and you know, it's like, okay, yeah, I didn't think of that. But the thing is that I want to say that I don't hear a lot of people say is that, and I'm kind of interjecting and going off my list here, but the truth is that one thing I'm going to tell you here at DillieGang is this. I'm going to tell you the truth. You can do everything right and it still doesn't work. I know that's not what we want to hear. I know that doesn't give you a dopamine kick. I know it doesn't provide you with inspiration in that, but I'd rather you know the truth so that if that does happen, you're not surprised and you're able to take a more strategic approach when that type of situation comes, where you've tried a lot of things and you follow the 5 tips, or you follow the 5 steps, or you follow this course and you follow that course, and things still don't work. But the truth is that there's always another way to try things that yields data or yields information, especially in 2020 with all the analytics that are all over the place on all these platforms that you can get involved with, to really test it out. But what I'm saying is, don't be afraid and don't be surprised if you do everything to the letter and things still don't work out. The interesting reality is this, is that I can tell you how to do things the way I do it, and it may help you get there, but I can only speak to you from my experience. I can only speak to you from what works for me, and it may work for me, but I have to remember to stay on my toes, because what may have worked for me at that moment that gave me that success may not work for me again. So I'm constantly combing the internet and constantly trying to keep my mind open and flexible of trying new things, and also trying other things that may not seem logical, or trying things that other people say you shouldn't do. Because I tell you this right now, sometimes the very thing that other people suggest you don't do is probably the thing that you should do. And the only way you're going to know is to try. Another thing to do is to go with your gut. If you feel like things aren't working out in a certain direction and your gut's kind of tell you, nah, this ain't it, then don't be afraid to trust it and try to investigate that direction and say, okay, this didn't work. Let me try another way. If I'm not getting streamed on BeatStars, all right, let me change up my strategy. If I'm not getting streams on SoundCloud, or people are not retweeting my content on Twitter, let me try and step back from it and see what I can do to adjust myself so that I can put myself in a better position to move forward. And it's okay to feel some type of way about it, because I think at the end of the day, we're still humans working on machines. We're not machines ourselves. We're not content machines, even though I know a lot of people pride themselves on being able to drive and make a lot of stuff at the same time. I've seen that. I've ran into that. But the point is that I want to say is this, is that it's okay to feel some type of way, feel it and remember it, but also understand that it's all right to make mistakes. I think we live in a world, or at least from what I've seen in the world, a lot of times people are afraid to admit that they made mistakes, or don't talk about their mistakes enough. They like to talk about how they're successful enough and don't talk a lot about their mistakes. A lot of people don't talk about the grind. And a lot of times what we see today in content is the fact that we see the success story, and they may talk about it, but a lot of people rarely document the failures during the meantime. They're probably busy grinding on that, trying to get to success, which I get. But I just wanted to try and at least convey in this motivation, like, hey, tell you the truth. Like, hey, listen, don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes, but in your making mistakes, try to understand where you made a mistake. Try to document. Sometimes you got to grind. Sometimes you got to drag that tire. And I'll be the first to tell you, I'm the first one that will drag a tire or drag a dead horse a bunch of miles solely on the principle of not giving up. But even me, after a while, I have to say, look, okay, this isn't working. What's going on? And it's okay to start over, especially when you know you've given it some time. Plenty of time, months, days, years. You've given it plenty of time, and you're not getting a result, or you've given people in the business time, and you try to grow that relationship with people who say, yeah, we're going to hook up, we're going to get this project going, and a year goes by and they never come back to work with you on the very thing that they said that they were talking about working with you on. Try to be aware as best you can. I understand being steadfast. I understand you got to be stubborn in this creative thing, whether it's music or starting a business, but always try and be aware. Go with your gut. It typically has a good answer for you. Try to educate yourself as best you can, and don't be afraid to try things and fail and try again so that you can find answers for yourself in your pursuits. So I hope this gives you some information on whether you need to start over or you need to keep going. It's been my pleasure coming to you with this video. If you like this type of content, let me know in the comments below. Check out the links in my description. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Help me to grow this channel. This is a brand new channel that I'm trying to grow up. And I really hope that this helps motivate somebody, or at least gives them some good ideas. And I just want you to be encouraged, all right? I'm Dillio. I'm out of here. DillieGang.